went camping for the first time ever this past summer, and it was an interesting experience.
Literally, the pieces that are in here, I don't think that they go to this tent. I'm being so real with you. I think these pieces don't go with this tent.
So I want to tell you about it. Hi, I'm Lydia, and I work for the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Currently, I don't have an outdoor hobby, but I want one, so I'm trying a bunch and grading my experiences. I always wanted to go camping when I was growing up, but sadly never got that opportunity, but there's nothing stopping me now. Luckily for me, I also got to share this experience with my new friend Zoe, who had also never been camping before. So without further ado, the plan was simple. We would camp for one night at North Higgins Lake, a very approachable, short, entry-level camping trip. While working on the plan for this, I was surprised by the barrier to entry with camping. At its core, it's a simple activity. You go outside, you sleep outside, you go home. But if you have a limited outdoor recreation education, which I do, camping for the first time is intimidating because you don't have a lot of past experiences to draw from or base your confidence in. One of the first things I learned about camping was that you need a lot of stuff. Yes, you can camp on a variety of budgets, but the stuff still adds up fast. You need something to sleep in, you need something to sleep on, you need food, a cooler, and plenty more. A lot of that was stuff we didn't already own. Fortunately, we did have some friends we could borrow equipment from. So it is the night before camping, and I'm just making sure I have all my stuff packed up, and a friend of mine recommended bringing two bags, one bag with like all your clothes and whatnot, and then another bag for hiking and going out and stuff like that. Here's what I thought of bringing, because I'm just guessing. Snacks, first aid kit, and then I have umbrella, flashlight, bug spray, sunscreen, bags for picking up trash if we see it, but yeah, I think we're set.
I feel like we stumbled onto somebody's unfinished art project.
This is just really, I don't think that this is the thing.
What's the thing?
This. I think this goes over it.
You think that goes over?
Oh, wait, there's another door.
Is there a hole?
A hole?
For the rods.
I don't see any, that's what I was saying.
The tent was a bit strange. It had these rods that were all strung together to make two long rods that the tent was supposed to hook onto. This confused us for a really long time. We just couldn't figure out what direction the rods were supposed to go, especially since one of them were broken and there were no instructions.
Let's find one end and we'll start and just find our way through it. How about that?
We were working on building the tent for so long that at one point we seriously considered the fact that we might just end up sleeping in the car. Despite our efforts, we ended up having to call the person we were borrowing the tent from, and they were able to guide us through the process.
Yeah.
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 It wasn't pretty, but thanks to some duct tape, very functional for one night. We took a very nice hike, which is where we were introduced to these little guys, which are tent caterpillars. These creepy cuties will come back to haunt us.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That scared me a little bit. I'll lie to you. Okay, well, we did it.
This was, in my opinion, the hardest but most rewarding part of the experience. We get the fire going, get really excited, and then it would die.
The logs catching is what we need, and that hasn't happened yet. This looks easier in movies, or when someone does it for you. See, it's like out.
Zoe even called one of her friends who has more outdoor experience than us, and they were able to give helpful suggestions, but we still really struggled. I was constantly running back and forth, finding sticks to keep the fire going while Zoe tended to it. At some point, we honestly just gave up. We quit, we left it alone, and when we did that, I saw a recipe online for campfire nachos, which looked super easy to make, and by the end of the day just sounded heavenly. All you had to do was line some tin foil with parchment paper, add the nacho stuff that was prepared before we left for the trip, and then cover it with more tin foil. At some point, Zoe says, "I think something's happening," but then I realized something is happening. The parchment paper was on fire. After beating out the nachos, they were both cold and burnt. Finally, it was time for what was in my mind the crown jewel of camping, the sleeping part. Up until this point, I really wasn't sold on camping. The whole experience was just fine. Not bad, but also not amazing. But when I stepped out of my tent in the morning, I had that, oh, I get it now kind of moment. To wake up and already be outside was just remarkably pleasant. I didn't have to worry about my usual routines, which I have plenty. It was my first time in a while having a slow morning with no real plans. Depending on how you do it, camping can really strip away everything but the necessities, so you have no choice but to focus on the people you're with and the nature around you. And honestly, what's not to like about that? Our camp was infested with tent caterpillars. These guys, yeah, everywhere. While packing up, we had to shake them off everything and flick them off things. So very quickly, how would I grade my camping experience? General enjoyment of camping, solid 3 out of 4. I liked it. On the ride home, me and Zoe both talked a lot about how we would like to try camping again. Skill issues, we had a lot of those. 2 out of 4. Some things were intuitive, a lot of things less so. Community element of camping gets a 4 out of 4. When I do camp again, I want to go with even more people just to see what that experience would be like. And lastly, clout, how cool does camping make me feel? I would say 3 out of 4. That leaves camping with a solid score of 12 out of 16. After I got home, I couldn't help but think about how much more difficult this short trip would have been if we didn't already know people who camp. We had to borrow equipment, ask for advice before we left, and call people for help during. While cost is a barrier to many outdoor activities, we shouldn't underestimate how much simply not knowing stuff prevents people from getting out there more. So if you're someone who is into the outdoors, consider sharing your knowledge and skills with people like me and Zoe who are interested in this stuff but don't really know what we're doing quite yet. Also, feel free to let me know what you think I should try next. As always, remember we are all humans, so please keep the comment section humane, and I'll see you later.